Spoiler alert, you're never going to look at coffee the same again.
It makes you behave like the village drunkard in some early Irish novel. Total loss of all basic motor skills. Blurred vision, no balance, numb tongue.
There are a lot of foods that can get you high, but the ones I'm about to tell you of aren't some type of obscure root sourced from the rainforest. No, these are foods that are readily available in any supermarket. That next trip to get groceries is gonna feel a lot different after this. Here are 10 everyday foods that can get you high. Number 1 is coffee. Coffee is something many people simply can't start their day without, but drink enough of it and yes, you absolutely can get high. Because it's so popular, people often forget that it's a drug, more specifically the caffeine part. Caffeine can boost your energy, making you feel more alert and even give you an elevated sense of well-being. And guess what? That's the definition of being high. Now to be clear, 400 milligrams of caffeine is the healthy max that a person can consume in a day. But that's only about 3 to 4 cups of coffee, and if you drink more, you can actually get high. In fact, 5 cups of coffee or more can actually lead to caffeine intoxication, which causes nausea, diarrhea, and even worse, mess up your nervous system. 2 male undergrad students from Northumbria University in England nearly died while taking part of a study to test the effects of caffeine on exercise. The researchers accidentally gave them 30 grams of pure caffeine instead of 0.3 grams. That's almost 300 cups of coffee. Almost immediately, both men experienced violent side effects like convulsions, blurred vision, and vomiting, and both had to be put on dialysis. So coffee can perk you up, but just don't overdose on it. Number 2 are mulberries. If you feel like seeing things that aren't there and don't mind being bent over the toilet shortly after, try some mulberries. Raspberries' uglier, more exotic cousin, they're normally found in tropical places, and these berries can be quite toxic to humans if they aren't fully ripe. Eating unripe mulberries can get you high, leading to moderate hallucinations and lightheadedness. But you might want to think again if you were considering starting a psychedelic pies and jams business, and that's because these bad boy berries are actually a natural laxative and a super powerful one at that. So to avoid a day in the bathroom puking your guts out, don't eat these. Number 3 is nutmeg. The smell of nutmeg immediately makes most people think of Christmas, eggnog, or fruitcake, which I happen to like, don't judge me. It's one of the most common spices you can find in holiday desserts, but having too much of it can really screw up both your mind and your body. The active ingredient in nutmeg that gets you high is called myristicin, which the human body is capable of converting into an amphetamine-style psychedelic. All you have to do is ingest as little as 4 teaspoons of this spice, and at first you might feel as good as Christmas morning, with some mild hallucinations and the feeling of pins and needles in your arms and legs. But just when you think that you're in the clear, 5 hours later, the dizziness and nausea will set in, and you'll find yourself curled up in a ball, paranoid that the world is caving in on you, while your mouth becomes as dry as the Sahara. And the next morning, you'll be having one of the worst hangovers of your life, from nutmeg. Does that sound like a jolly good time to you? I don't think so. Number 4 are chili peppers. You might be thinking, but the only thing getting high from chili peppers is my core temperature. Yeah, but you're mistaken. It turns out chilies are quite useful in medicine. Chilies contain high levels of capsaicin, which is the chemical that causes the spicy food to be spicy. But it's also responsible for sending out endorphins in response to all of that heat. See, when your body senses heat, it releases endorphins to ease the anticipated pain of getting burnt. On the skin, it can feel like numbness, and when you eat them, the effects are even more intense. In fact, historians believe that the Mayans were way ahead of the sriracha trend and were using chilies as hallucinogens over 9,000 years ago. Chili peppers can bring the feeling of euphoria as the pleasure center of your brain gets stimulated. That's why when you eat something really spicy, it may feel like a blowtorch to your mouth, but eventually the discomfort goes away and you kind of start to feel good. And it's chasing that high, which is part of why barstool daredevils keep ordering the suicide hot wings. Number 5 is Sarpa Salpa. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, I'm a fish, everything is melting, purple is my spirit animal. There's a fish out there that's totally capable of making you hallucinate if you eat it. The Sarpa Salpa is usually found in the Eastern Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Sea, but it can be found on many a dinner plate as well. Now the body of the fish is completely edible and many people enjoy it. But eating its head is where the real trip begins. The Sarpa salpa eats a lot of algae and plankton, which can contain hallucinogenic chemicals called indole. It's hard to tell how much indole is in the fish just by looking at it, so it's pretty much a coin toss from just eating a fish head for the sake of eating a fish head, or having the worst hellfire and brimstone trip of your life. Be sure you've got someone to watch over you if you do this, which I do not recommend, but you'll probably regret it either way. If you do try it, you can at least feel like the Romans, which also ate Sarpa salpa to trip balls. Which also kind of explains a lot about the Romans, doesn't it? Number 6 are mushrooms. Obviously, this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, so I'm not saying to go out there and try any of these, especially this one because you could literally die from it. Mushrooms are a form of fungi, and there are literally thousands of different species that exist. This makes it kind of hard to figure out which one would be a good pizza topping, or which ones will make you think that you're in the land of Oz, or which ones will kill you instantly. Psilocybe, or magic mushrooms, have been used as a psychedelic drug for ages. Like other mild hallucinogens, they can cause a sense of euphoria and feeling like you live in a kaleidoscope, while also causing dizziness, nausea, and vomiting. Bummer. But since most mushrooms look so similar, if you aren't a trained botanist, you could end up taking a lethal dose of something super poisonous. So unless you bought it from the grocery store, it's best to leave the magic to the professionals. Number 7 are poppy seeds. It's been a long-standing rumor that poppy seed bagels have caused some people to fail their drug tests. But before you dismiss that as just a myth, keep watching. Opium is actually made from poppy seeds, which contain morphine and codeine, and poppy seed bagels have, a lot of them. Yeah, there's a reason that Dorothy passed out in the field for like a day, guys. These are some of the most addictive painkillers out there, which makes it no surprise that centuries ago, opium fueled the global drug trade. Even today, there is a huge problem of people abusing prescription pills trying to chase down that same high. Now granted, you'd have to eat a lot of poppy seeds to get you messed up, but depending on where the poppy seeds came from, it is most definitely possible that you could get high. Number 8 is Stilton cheese. You don't even have to be awake to get the effects of this drug/food. In fact, it's better if you're not. Dating back to the 1700s, this particular pungent type of blue cheese was founded in a village called Stilton in England. The cheese is exported around the world, but there are only 3 countries in England that still make it according to its strict code. If you aren't a fan of strong cheese, you might feel like just a bite will knock you out, but the truth is, it's actually known to affect the dreams of those who eat it. A survey completed in 2005 by the British Cheese Board, yeah, that's a thing, found that 75% of men and 85% of women who consumed Stilton cheese just half an hour before going to sleep had incredibly strange and vivid dreams. Many even reported that the dreams were so real that it was if they were having hallucinations rather than dreaming. Well, it sure seems like a halloumi of a good time. I mean, it sounds pretty great. Really, it doesn't get any better than that. Okay, I'm just gonna go listen to some R&B. Number 9 is rye bread. While not every piece of rye bread comes with that little something extra to get you high, it doesn't mean that the next sandwich you have won't. In fact, historians claim that this seemingly innocent baked good could have been the cause of some of the events that got people tried as witches during the Salem witch trials. See, ryegrass is susceptible to a fungus called Claviceps purpurea, which causes a little thing called ergot poisoning. When ingested by humans, this stuff can lead to many issues, including headaches, nausea, and intense hallucinations. Which maybe isn't so surprising when you consider that ergot contains ergotamine, which just so happens to be a psychoactive chemical which is used in the synthesis of LSD. So you may not feel awesome, dude, but if you're looking to see and hear things that aren't there, a little ergot poisoning with your rye bread in the morning is just what the unlicensed back alley doctor ordered. And number 10 is sugar. Okay, you've heard of a sugar high before, right? Well, before you go dismissing it as something that exclusively happens to children binging on cake and candy at a birthday party, let's discuss just how much of a drug sugar actually is. For starters, it's important to understand that sugar affects people differently. Our bodies tend to burn through the basic carbohydrates that make up sugar pretty quickly, leaving the body to have a short burst of energy. Now, this doesn't last long, but it feels great, so naturally, we start to crave even more. So, this is a substance that you can take internally, get a short high from, and then crash, and it makes you want more of it? Sounds like a drug to me. In fact, believe it or not, excessive amounts of sugar can actually damage internal organs in ways that hard drugs like heroin and cocaine never could. So after learning that, it shouldn't be a surprise that sugar is highly addictive. And the problem with so much packaged and processed food out there is that sugar is in practically everything, making it really hard to avoid. That being said, damn sugar, where's my pixie sticks? Yeah. So those were 10 foods that can get you high. Today's question is, what other foods do you know of that can get you high as a kite? I want to know what it is and also what it does to you, you know, for a friend. So leave your response below because I'll be reading through them and I'll pin the best one to the top. And thank you guys so much for coming by today. Remember to come back tomorrow and every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because I'll have a brand new video for you. I will see you then.